Some people believe that God is in control, and when they say that, they mean everything that happens in the earth, and that however things play out, it happens for a reason, meaning God's will has occurred. But is this biblically accurate, or does God require people to play a part in their walk with God, cooperating with Him to receive what He may have for them? In the Old Testament, under the law, Deuteronomy 28:1 says, "It shall come to pass, if you hearken or listen diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all His commandments, which I command you this day, that the Lord your God will set you on high above all nations of the earth." In the Old Testament, under the law, God spoke to His chosen people Israel, telling them to play a part in their walk with Him, that if they listened to the Lord and remained faithful and obeyed the law of Moses, He would surely bless them with the blessing of Abraham, providing increase in wealth, increase in family, increase in prosperity, health, all good things God desired for them. This was God's will for them. Isaiah 1:9, "If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land." Isaiah 48:18, "O that you hast hearkened to my commandments, then had thy peace been as a river, and thy righteousness as the waves of the sea." Israel had a choice to make. They could walk in obedience to God and remain faithful to the Word, to God, to the laws, or not. And depending on what they did is how things would play out for them. And although it is true that things happen for a reason, the reason was dependent on them in their cooperation with God. Psalm 81 verse 13, "O that my people had hearkened unto me," or listened to me, "and Israel had walked in my ways." Verse 14, "I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries." Israel had a history in the Old Testament of being defeated by their enemies often because of their lack of cooperation, because of their unfaithfulness. Things played out because of their decisions, not because it was God's will. God's will was to bless them. God's will didn't happen because they did not walk as God commanded. So for Christians today, is there a part we play in our walk with God? Or are we just on our own until the Lord comes, and the way things play out are automatically the Lord's will? Galatians 3:14, "That the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Jesus Christ, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith." The very same blessing of Abraham, it is God's will that it happens in the lives of believers today, but not by works, by faith. Faith is how believers receive today, just as He instructed, "The just or justified shall live or have their livelihood by faith." So, it is not automatic. If one does not walk by faith, believer or not, they will not take this blessing. Because they don't believe it's for us today, they won't receive. The same goes for an unbeliever of the gospel. They don't receive Jesus Christ and salvation because they don't take it by faith or believe. 2 Timothy 2:21, "If a man therefore purges himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work." Verse 22, "Flee youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, follow faith, charity, peace, with them that call upon the Lord out of a pure heart." In order to be used by God, in order to receive honor from the Lord, does the Lord automatically do that for believers today? No, because the requirement is to flee youthful lusts, pursue faith, holiness, righteousness. If a believer walks in the flesh and does not honor the Lord as much as he should, or walks in ways contrary to sound doctrine, God chooses not to use them as much or at all. 1 Timothy 6:10, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." Verse 11, But you, O man of God, flee these things, and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness. Many believers coveted after carnal things. They didn't flee youthful desires. They didn't pursue faith. And because they didn't pursue faith, they departed from faith, erring from the truth. Is their actions and the byproduct of their actions God's will? Or are they missing out on favor, on blessings that God has spoken about from God, piercing themselves with affliction instead? Hebrews 4:2, For unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. On this journey of faith, one must actually have faith, believing what the word says in order to receive. If God says the blessing of Abraham would come on to a believer through faith in Jesus Christ, and it doesn't, are they receiving it by faith? If they are not, it doesn't mean it's not God's will. The lack of faith and decision to not walk in faith does not nullify what God says. God said what He said, and it is still available. Increase, provision, blessing is all available today for believers, but without faith, it is impossible to receive and impossible to please God.